this life, gotta make your own deals, chase your own thrills, pay your own bills. On the outer loop, sitting on chrome wheels, phone synced up to the newest chrome bills. On air, who cares if it's right or wrong? I just care which guests they invited on. Without a minute to stall, and there was liquor involved with some hype songs. And the night is young. Right on cue, the talking begins, and we check out what Steve Bills got on the blends. A bit grimy, a backdrop from the late 80s to the mid 90s, till it finally takes us to a rhythm that works. And K Chrome spits a verse that he didn't rehearse. Both flex skills, proving it's all in. So gather round for the newest installment, Chrome Bills. Episode number.
What's up, Chrome Billionaires? This is C's Mics, and right now I have the pleasure of speaking with YU, Diamond District, 1978ers. Thank you for having me over.
No
YU,
problem.
peace to you, man.
Peace. What's going on?
Chilling, man. It's one of my favorite things about doing these interviews. We've had Odyssey, EXO, a whole bunch of people.
Mm-hmm.
But as I get a chance to go back and really listen to everybody's catalog, and I spent a lot of time before taxes, the earn, spent a lot of time with your catalog. We'll get into questions about the specific songs, but specifically one of the things that really got me open was when I learned the origin of your name. So can you break down where it's lowercase y, capital U?
True.
So where'd that come from?
Originally the name came from, I used to be on, they used to have like message boards back when the internet first came out. I used to go to PG Community College and use their internet to get on message boards and battle people with, like, you know, we just pretty much, the way that everybody else rhymed, they got really personal, and I would make like wild stories about them, and it always had folks asking me why my angle was like that.
Okay.
Or why did you choose to do this? And the question kept coming, so I ended up keeping it and turning it to a name, and since then, it's found many more meanings too, like even how the spelling is lowercase y, capital U. It used to be both capital letters, but I switched it because I wanted, whatever career or whatever I was building with music, I wanted it to have like a upward
Arc.
Exactly, like coming from nothing to something.
Right.
Like a lowercase letter to a capital letter. And I don't know, it's been good to, throughout all the projects, that's been my point. To go from before taxes, for it to have like a sound, like I didn't even know how to put albums together, but I had to trust myself enough to mix it myself, to do it all that. And then the earn comes and it beefed up a little bit. My ear got a little better.
Right.
Even getting up to people.
Now you mean just flat sonically? Now, because you're the word, the raps, the beats are always gonna be quality. You mean the mixing?
Yeah, but
and
even that, it's a different. I don't know. It just got clearer and clearer. Like I want the idea to start off like fuzzy, and then throughout the career, if everything starts to get more and more clear.
Right.
But and it's been working out like that.
Now, time frame wise, so in terms of the message board stuff, this was
about 2000. I say about 99, 98.
Okay. And you were in the DC area. You grew up around there.
Now, actually, at that time, I was living in. We had a house. We had a house in Fort Tottenham, Remains.
Okay.
Who I was with.
Okay.
And right in there, it was a nice neighborhood. It's like a masonry. Like our neighbors were older with masonry, like the tags, you could tell, and it was real quiet because of that.
Right.
We made the most out of that. Like in one summer, we made like 100 songs or something.
Now, quiet in terms of the people around you were quiet, and therefore you could make noise, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just a real, like most of the people living there have been living there for years and years and years. And even whom we were living with, it was my other man, Omar, who his aunt still lived there, and she had this house for many years.
Right.
And rented it out to us. But
that's interesting, because one of the quotes that's been running through my head since I've been listening to your stuff is, "I don't battle, I build." So you started out sort of battling online.
Yeah.
And then did you make a conscious decision to not do that going forward?
I just wanted to like battling is cool because it's just it's fun. the angle I was coming from, it was like finding different ways of just telling a story, and without myself in it, I could make you the main character.
Right.
And but I guess what it turned into, me and my partner in that same crew, we started to notice that it felt really great to come from an angle of like talking how we talk.
Right.
And like in your rhymes, talking about the things that matter to you and stuff like that. Like before that, we tried, when we first was rhyming, we kind of mimicked what was out there. We had like the first song we recorded was like about a drug deal or something. We weren't doing that, but it was just, it sounded good to us at the moment. But like it was a good bridge to just turn into, go from that into how we naturally are and the things that matter.
Right.
That was a turning point.
And the narrative, because one of the things that strikes me about your music is that even if the song as a whole is about a particular concept that won't have a narrative edge to it, at some point, an entire verse, 4 bars, you have a very narrative style. Where does that come from?
I love writing. I love, I could attribute that to when I first learned to write solo songs, it was from listening to HL from, Chemistry. Zach Slimcat from 1978 is his first partner. They were Chemistry. And HL, he had a way of, in his songs, the structure was so crazy. Like, I felt like I had just went through an honors class in English by the time I got to the end of his joint, because he would start a rhyme off a certain way.
Right.
Lead you all through the story and then take you to the end, or like whatever the end of that verse was, and it would come back around in a different verse. And like just the structure alone, just like, I didn't understand that because I was coming from a crew. All we had to do was write 16.
Right.
And then, you know, whatever for the hook or whatever. But merging into doing solo songs, like, I studied under him.
Right.
I got a triangle of mentors, and that's one of them.
Okay.
HL, Slimcat, and Mr. Who. That was my, pretty much, like, all the different angles I was coming from, looking from their perspectives.
Right. Now, you make beats as well, right?
I do.
So, do you have a preference? Because I know you did your 1/3 of Diamond District, which is you, Odyssey, and XO. You got 2 records out.
The total sum of it, summer get what we trying to do. On the outskirts of the old, inside the new. To the billionaires of the world with childish views. Your monopoly game could end with a line or two. Listen, I'm a threat. Everything that was done was a simple test. Everything will come to rest when unity's at its best. Everything declared now from a heart inside of a chest. Everything. But if everything justified, then it's death. Everything a politician is saying is a waste of breath. A slave if you in debt. We know now. March on, next step. Showdown. This was written from a spirit on a quest. Everything on the table, cards revealed like hidden jewels. Everybody mind lab, not rap to the new world. Everything from here on out will never be the same. It's funny how one verse can fuck up the game. Yeah, I take my time and never hurry things. Never be afraid of the scurry things. Gotta judge a man by how you carry things. Hey Joe, shit is everything. I take my time and never hurry things. Never be afraid of the scurry things. Gotta judge a man by how you carry things. Hey Joe, shit is everything.
Beat in the jungle is paved with concrete. Talk cheap while the rich don't speak. With no receipt, take it back to the boot to cap. Fuck what you got, I come to rock, y'all. Rhymes are rhymes, I bust a lot more. Beats I bully is fully equipped. Quiet with the swift fire, barbed wire rip through your attire. I am the lowercase y, the use capitalistic. Humble, rumble, my number is unlisted. The district far from simplistic, it's complicated how we operate it. And things change to the alternative. These is my motherfucking brothers, and we are not related. But still we see eye to eye, rhyming, we dominating. The proper way to make the block cooperate. Hands reaching for the top to snag the crown, but not today. No fools in the control room, steady with what we bring. Swing a sharp ass machete, dismembering everything.
Yeah, I take my time and never hurry things. Never be afraid of the scurry things. Gotta judge a man by how you carry things. Hey Joe, shit is everything. I take my time and never hurry things. Never be afraid of the scurry things. Gotta judge a man by how you carry things. Hey Joe, shit is everything.
Diamond District beside me. Time is the only team I will ever keep behind me. Is that your entourage? Well, let me introduce you to the county of Prince George's in the district in the 90s. Gritty, gully, grimy, pretty, ugly, rhyming, really hungry. In the diamond siren screaming, ain't nobody coming, leave 'em. City coming, run for freedom, young and bleed 'em. Seen 'em out at Addison Road Station, get gunned over beefing. See, I done seen the death of elders. Too soon as the children, the lesson I learned, it never is too soon for building. So I'ma do any and all things to death. I got a list with some ticks unchecked. That shit is everything. Go.
Yeah, I take my time and never hurry things. Never be afraid of the scurry things. Gotta judge a man by how you carry things. Hey Joe, shit is everything. I take my time and never hurry things. Never be afraid of the scurry things. Gotta judge a man by how you carry things. Hey Joe, shit is everything.
You have a preference, because I know you did your 1/3 of Diamond District, which is you, Odyssey, and EXO. You got 2 records out. You've got a ton of stuff on your own. Do you have a preference in terms of working with other people, working with your own stuff? In terms of like Before Taxes and The Earn, what percentage of that was you doing the beats?
The Earn. You said The Earn.
The Earn.
The Earn. Every project between Before Taxes and The Earn, I did more than anybody else, but most of the work was like, if you're gonna have other people, making sure that it blends.
Right.
Even when we did The Earn, I had like different folks. Coquilla right next door. I hit
Oh, really?
Coquilla, yeah.
Okay.
I hit him up and was like, "Yeah, I need some jumps. Well, you know, this is what I'm doing. The sound is this." And he sent me some joints, but they was like real keyboardy.
Right.
Or something, and I was like, nah, it's not gonna blend with what I got. Like, I think I sent him a couple songs what I had, and then a couple days later, he called me like late as hell, and was like, I think I got it. Check your email, and it was perfect.
Right.
It fit.
Right.
Now, even still, it had some highs in. I think we brought out in the mix or something, but it was just making sure everything matched for the sound. Cause same as styling a verse or whatever, you got to style the album to make sure everything fit. Make sure.
Well, that's what always impressed me, just as you as an individual. And then when we had Odyssey on a previous episode of Chrome Bills, he said he had a real game plan for why he chose you two to work with specifically. I always felt like EXO was the most descriptive. You had the most narrative style, and then Odyssey was a sort of both of those combined. Do you have a preference in terms of working alone or with other people, or just whatever's clever?
It's whatever works, man. I come from a team aspect. I love to play my role, whatever it may be, and to feel fulfilled, we can do Diamond District, and then so I don't have to feel like I'm not being all of me or whatever.
Right.
That's why I go and do the 78ers.
Right.
Because I can get that out of my system from that. But, no preference. It's just whatever's progressive.
Now, how did you cross paths with Slim Cat? And for the people out there, it's funny because a lot of people will listen to episodes of Chrome Bills and they'll say, make sure that you make it explicit as to where people can get your stuff. So you're on Spotify, Bandcamp, YU, and then the record that I would definitely recommend, the Diamond District stuff is great. The 1978er stuff just completely blew me away.
That's what's up.
Because I'd seen stuff on Instagram or Facebook that you guys were working on something together, and then the way it came together is just, it's fantastic.
That's what's up. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot went into that project. Slim Cat, besides the music, that's been a best friend of mine for a long time. I learned a lot. I grew into being an individual on a note of music and on a note of just like style. He taught me a lot. Like, he used to be the manager at Urban Outfitters, like 2000 or something like that, way back. And he'd be like, "Yeah, why don't you come up this joint?" because we got the employee sale, everything like 60% off
Right,
or something.
right.
Like, it give you like some diesel jeans or something. But he always knew what was up on style as far as clothing, new music from overseas, like Fela. Everybody started getting on Fela late mid 2000s. It was the 90s, and he was on Fela and like Dilla, like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
People didn't even really know who Dilla was, but he scoped it out way early and was like, yo.
Is he from the DC area?
Who?
Slim Cat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He's born and raised. I mean, but I think, where did he say he was from? Primarily, he's been in DC.
Okay. And you guys were friends before you started doing music, or?
No, we met at a show. We met at State of the Union.
Okay.
It was the Remains performing and Chemistry performing.
Okay.
And after the end of the show, it was a good night. And we exchanged numbers. We didn't get up right away because I was still doing Remains stuff. He was still doing what he was doing. I think he moved briefly. And when he came back, we got up, and a lot started that day. He had a beat tape. And it was like these short fade in, fade out beats, so like 30 seconds or a minute or something. And he told me to go through it. And I think I picked something. And he was like, oh, because he used the, I don't even have it right here, but the MS-1.
Okay.
And that's like something like a 45-second sampler or whatever.
Yeah.
And he didn't have a memory card or nothing in it. So basically, when you make a joint, when you make it, you bounce it down the tape or whatever, and in order to make something else, you got to kick all the sounds out and start all over.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, I like this joint on the tape. So he was like, all right, well, and he goes and looks up in his records and pick out this where the snare's at, this where the kick is at, sounds is over
And he's
here.
just doing that off memory.
And he just put it back together in literally like 30, 40 minutes.
That's
he put
amazing.
the same beat back together exactly like it was.
Yeah.
And he put it on the track board and went to sleep. It was like, just, this how you record, I'm going to sleep. I see you in the morning.
So that's it. Well, because obviously people can't see. We're sitting in your bedroom, and you've got an entire recording studio set up in here. You got the ASR. You got was that your first experience with doing it yourself? Okay.
Yeah. And it opened the world to me because I never been put in a situation like that where literally, I realized that like it was late. It was about 1 o'clock in the morning or something. He went to sleep. Something about nighttime. Energy is ripe as I don't know what when everybody's asleep. Okay. And I was just.
That's when you're ready to rock.
Man, I was going off, and we did the first song we did was called Solid, and it just sparked a lot more. We even we did a revised version of it a little later, but was it just baptism by fire, and that he just sat you down and you started playing with stuff, or did he give you any kind of direction as to how to use it? He did. Well, how in the beginning, when he saw I had ideas, I was making like beats I was using 4-track. I would beatbox the drum. I had a little kalimba. I had a little busted guitar or whatever. Okay. And I make these little songs. They would be whole songs or whatever. And he'd listen to them and be like, Joe, that joint tight. Like, we'll make. Can I put a drum to it or blah, blah, blah? I'm like, go ahead. He was like, you know how to use a drum machine? And then showed me how to use a drum machine.
And you had no experience making other than beatboxing?
Well, I mean, I played instruments. I played in the DC Youth Orchestra and all that. I had ideas.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I know on one of the records you said you played the French horn. Okay.
French horn trumpet. But I got out of that because I didn't like the fact you just reading sheet music. Right. And, we never got to the point of how you gonna make your own music. Right. And I just had all these ideas, and I saw that they weren't gonna get to that part.
Now, is that your parents got you into that?
Yeah, my father.
Okay.
My father, he had me in everything from music to baseball, football, basketball. Okay. He always had me in something. Yeah. But definitely getting with Zach on that note pretty much sparked everything, and even past then, a lot of times, like going through stuff in life and all that, we end up living together maybe like 4 different times. Even right now, he live next door this way.
Really? So Kokai's over there.
Yeah.
Slim Cat's over there.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, he was the first one in this area. I came and visited him like a couple years ago.
Okay.
Little party he had or something.
Yeah.
It was dark, and I didn't know how I got there, but I got there.
Right.
A little bit later, I'm looking for a place, and they said it was in this area. I was like, I think I got a friend in there.
Right.
And I got the place, and then I called him and told him where I was living at. He was like, hold up, I'm coming out. And he lived right, like I go in the bathroom, out my window. And
Yeah.
I got to be careful because
Right.
he's like right there. Their bathroom is like that.
Right. Guys can make a record while you're taking the shit.
I know. I like the fact that, and it's him because we build a lot.
Yeah.
We build a whole
No,
lot.
he's like one of the. It's so interesting in this area because I remember when I first met you, Odyssey. EXO's quite a bit younger. But Kokai was always just one of those dudes. I remember being 15 or 16, thinking, God, if I could ever just kick it with him.
Right.
And then became friends with him over the years.
Right.
You know, I think it's good that there's levels to the scene. You know, particularly in age.
Exactly.
So you came. So you started going down to like the beat. I don't. Would they beat battles at Capital City? Was it just like showcases?
Nah, it was just they just had like an open mic kind of thing on Fridays, and basically that was the only place I could go on Friday. I would have my daughter in New York,
Okay.
and she's about, I think at that time she was about 3 years old, but I didn't want to be cooped up in the house, and I could go there because they didn't sell alcohol or
Right.
whatever, and just I have her on my back and XO, all these different folks. They was just asking me to play beats or whatever. So
Right.
it was just something cool to do on Fridays. And
So at what point did you start making beats?
I got my ASR in like 2000, about 2000.
Did you? Is there a specific? And that's the ASR that we're looking at right now, the red one.
Same one.
Is there a specific reason you chose the ASR as opposed to an MP or an SP?
I couldn't afford an MPC.
Okay.
And I don't know, I just took a chance on it. And actually even getting it was, I think I had 2 jobs at the time. We had just got a new place or whatever. I had all these, I had a elaborate DVD collection, like hundreds of DVDs and all this, and music and whatever. But I seen the ASR on eBay, and it was like $300 or something like that. And knowing that my collection was more than that, I just was like, either you're gonna be entertained,
Right.
or you're gonna get something that you can create.
Right.
And I took all them joints to CD Game Exchange, and they gave me about exactly $300 what I needed. And
Wow. I mean, that's the universe telling you something.
right, you know what I'm saying?
One of my favorite lines that you have is "I don't complain, I complete," and then one of the other ones is rated R for realistic. And that's one thing that really comes through in your music is that, you know, if you want X, Y, and Z, you better be willing to do A, B, and C.
Seriously, yeah, it's a realistic thing. Like, it's a lot of you can get from music whatever you wish to. For me, at this point in my life, I'm realizing a lot of what it's going to take to just to have that structure. For me, like, you know, I didn't have certain things, like just like I have kids. These are
Right.
things that change your outlook.
Right.
That
Happy Father Days to you.
thank you. But yeah, you know, it's a part of maybe without trying to be preachy or anything. Like, in one way I'm talking to myself, in another way I'm going against the tide. Like, to be honest, if I was talking a whole lot of negativity
Right.
and nonsense,
Right.
then I could probably get a lot more play or whatever.
Right.
Or, you know, but music is it means a lot. I come from the school of when it was a culture and the things that are going to last. Like, I know that this music now that's real temporary, what have you, you're going to forget about it.
Right.
You give it a year, you give it a month,
Right.
you're going to forget about it. But the songs that people keep going back to that still make sense today
Right.
are well written. You know, you show that you have respect for music first and foremost.
Right.
Well, not even just that, just principles in life. Like you gotta.
I feel like
have
that. You know how it is off the 1978ers. I feel like that whole song is basically about what you're talking about now.
Yeah, yeah. It's relating. I mean.
You know how it is. You know how it
Some things you laugh about them later on. Like going from shopping at Murray's to filet mignon, then ramen noodles to linguine Alfredo sauce. From a basement to a loft with high ceilings, Enough days spent on envisioning that upgrade. A rough stage, making the most out of that chump change. I'm up late, putting in work later, I run things. And it's kinda wild how it all flips with one break. 1 minute in it to win it, and then when you done it, you don't even notice you did it. That's because you've been at great beginnings from intent alone. Your folks cheer when that success starts nearing your vision's hitting home. You sat down, they gather around and let you tell the tale of how the boat set sail with you behind the wheel. Hope is just like the wind pushing a vessel, and that's the thing that stands out to the folks that haven't met you when they peeping that.
You know how it is.
To go through predicaments evolve us, like what you gon' do. Might be 10 of them that didn't, only a couple that did. Planting seeds that'll nourish, get big. I know that you know how it is.
You know how it is.
To not have it, the ones that stand out might end up being outstanding. To have it automatic leaves. Let's to imagine manually we gon' build us a bridge. So now you know how to do it from scratch, and that's the reason why folks dig your recipe. The impression you leave behind, it is contagious and ain't the same as others who made this. You can tell that you cooking with patience, and it makes sense. The folks wanna pay when it is worth it. It's way less of a fantasy to you because you researched and birthed it. Far from perfect, growing to better devotion, and far more open is the trendsetter. And you tried to tell them on an earlier note. Now that the in crowd is down, see they all at your door. An idea once came, allowing you to give it wings. Now you sure graduated to more, bigger, and better things. You got the key plus the arrow saying proceed. A steady hand cause you plan following your lead. And managed to stay positive. Took it all in stride and still got a lot to give. I'm assuming that
You know how it is.
to go through predicaments evolve us, like what you gon' do. Might be 10 of them that didn't, and a couple that did. Planting seeds that'll nourish, get big. I know that you know how it is.
You know how it is.
To not have it, the ones that stand out might end up being outstanding. To have it automatic leaves. Let's to imagine manually we gon' build us a bridge. So now you know how it is. To give without reminding that you gave it up. To take another's confidence and raise it up. To let your folks know that you appreciate them. And whenever you building in the eyes how you face them. That lets them know that you mean it. And that passion you have for your craft, we can feel it. To give props and still give them back. Let them know that this ain't a gimmick, cause I am living that. Ain't a lot, but I just make it work. Foundation is the key, so I laid it first. A big world, I am a part of it. Goals turn into accomplishments with confidence. And that's just where I stand. I'm secure with my story, let me hear what you saying. We on a quest to understand it, I'm in the listening stand. So I'm hearing all of what you saying, not because what you have, more like cause I could tell.
You know how it is.
To go through predicaments evolve us, like what you gon' do. Might be 10 of them that didn't, only a couple that did. Planting seeds that'll nourish, get big. I know that you know how it is.
You know how it is.
To not have it, there's folks that stand out, they gon' end up outstanding. To have it automatic leaves. Let's to imagine manually we gon' build us a bridge. So now you know how it is.
Yeah, it's relating. I mean, there's many different. I was talking to somebody about. You got an opportunity when it comes down to crowds or your following or what have you, to decide beforehand what your following is going to be. Some people decide they want everybody's money.
Right.
I'm fine with not taking certain folks or going after certain folks' money.
Right.
Because I know that when I put this music out, the people that I want to see in the crowd, it's cool with me that they are educated, that they are, trying to make changes in this world right now. So look, we need changes right now. We, partying ain't the answer all the time. I mean, I can get with it. It's cool. You know what I'm saying? You want to have fun.
Right.
in your own way. I mean, and for me, I have fun doing this. Even if I'm speaking about a serious topic, I still try to find a different
Right.
way to approach it. Because if it were done the same way every time, I pretty much would stop. Because
Well, that's the other thing. I think one of the risks that, I guess artists in general, but MCs particularly, if you try to have a storytelling vibe, you know, it's tough to pull that off and keep it varied. And the one thing that shines through over the vast amount of music that you've made, over the amount of time you've been doing it, there's always something different, you know, to keep the attention. And there's always something, there's a very tangible level of enjoyment on your part.
yeah.
You know?
I mean, I listen to a lot of music. I listen to stuff from Japanese jazz to African soul bands from the 70s, or electronic music to...
Now, do you seek stuff out, or people put you onto it, or a little bit of everything?
I just come across it.
Okay.
I just come across people. I mean, we got like a collective, like, what's the name? Drew Dave. You familiar with Drew Dave?
No.
Soulful. Used to be called Soulful. Beat maker from here. He actually is in VA.
Okay.
Younger cat. I met him. What's the name? Matter of fact, yeah. That's
Okay.
We had
So I'm looking at a flyer for It's the Beatdown.
Yeah.
And when is that from?
It was an expedition. That's from around when In the Rough came out.
Okay.
That was our first show, actually.
Okay. So
We
Sirach's on there as
performed
well.
Ciroc, right. Ciroc, that's cool cat. Yeah, it was a beat expedition. It was me, Odyssey, Ciroc, Soulful. He was a young cat. That was my first time meeting him. At the time, he was using like Fruity Loops.
Okay.
And sometime after that show, he reached out and was like, you know, he wanted to find a piece of equipment he could use where he could actually tap on pads or what have you.
Right.
He didn't want to do it like Fruity Loops was cool, but he wanted outboard gear. And at the time, I was getting the machine to I don't know, I was just trying it out. I heard good things about it. And we had it both together, so we'd get up every weekend and try to learn it. A little bit after that, I ended up getting in a bind with bread or whatever.
Okay.
So I sold my machine, and actually moved to Richmond. I came back, and I hadn't seen him, heard from him for a while, so he played me the stuff he was doing now. And it was like, he way past when we last got up.
I've noticed that about. So is his last name Abraham?
Nope.
Okay.
No.
I've noticed that
Drew
about.
Dave.
Well, so
you're talking about Ciroc?
Yeah, Ciroc.
No.
Okay.
Ciroc, me and him cool. We used to work at Whole Foods together.
Okay.
He worked in the dairy department. I was in the customer service.
Okay.
But and it was wild. I met him outside of that at the Beatdown. The Beat Grinder. We were in competition against each other.
Okay.
I was like, I didn't know you made beats.
Right. Well, I've noticed the younger cats, particularly. I remember when I was younger, I would take to things and develop skills a lot quicker than I do now. Because, like you're saying, like you don't have the time. You got the energy and the desire to do it. It's just you got to be more responsible with your time.
Exactly.
Whereas young people, I feel like I was reading something the other day where by 6 you can still learn another language. By 7 or 8, all you're doing is mimicking it, even if you can inflect it and get the concepts down. Whereas the older you get, you lose that capacity. And young people, I feel like
That makes sense.
it's a good. That's one of the reasons I stayed away from battles. The older I got, was I was like, you're developing so much faster than I am.
Yeah.
So the beat battles? Tell me about those.
I did them. I did a few. I did like 3 of the Beat Grinder joints. I think I was like second in like 2 of them.
Because that was how I got to know. It's funny, when I first saw you rhyming, I was like, you got to be kidding me. This dude rhymes too? I think the first 4 or 5 times I interacted with you, I'd seen you at Beat Grinders at different beat exhibitions.
Right.
And that's what really blew me away.
Right. I for some reason, I've always felt like folks ain't taking me seriously on beats.
Really?
And I never, besides at the beat joints, like the battles or whatever. But
In
besides
terms of
that,
shopping beats for people to buy? Or?
I gotta give, or maybe it was the fact that when me and Slim Cat and RBI and Mr. Who, we had a house, and artists will always come through. Slim Cat will always make them a beat CD out of my newest joints, his newest joints. and they never get back to us. Like 2 years have passed. You got 20 something beats on there,
Right.
and nobody ever hit us back. It's just like
And they weren't cuffing them.
nah.
Okay.
It's just I think it was just people had so many options,
Okay.
and I don't like for me it was cool because I went and took them same beats, and I realized that besides XO, who used them for like his first and second album, I was just like, if don't nobody else do it, I will.
Right.
And I made like first album was Nothing Is Promised. It's just like songs from '96 to like 2006
Okay.
in chronological order. It really just, I mean, honestly, in doing it, I didn't realize how much music I had done from then and the different ways.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And I did it because around that same time was when I found out about my pops had a illness, and it really scared all of us. Like you hear certain things and you automatically think the worst, like
Right.
he's about to die tomorrow or something.
Right.
So I wanted to through music be able to make the most out of what I've been putting all this energy into.
Right.
It's really a shout out to him for real.
That's one thing that really stands out on, I think it was The Urn, where you talk about how he was a construction worker and worked with his hands, and then shout out your mom. You said when she was in labor, she was putting in work, the labor, you know? Are you still very close with your parents?
Well, my pops passed.
I'm
last
sorry to hear
Father's Day. But he's with me still.
Yeah.
My mom's, I see her every week. She watch my son. I go to work on Friday. She watch him every Friday. And I keep her a part of everything I'm doing. And it's dope that like kids, they bring, like, she's been kind of depressed for a while, but when my son comes,
Yeah.
she just brighten up.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like
yeah.
she got all the energy in the world now.
Yeah.
And forgetting about that she was stressing and all
Right.
this.
Right.
But yeah, it's that's the root. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. So now, we were talking about this before we got into it too. Like before we started doing the interview, you have a job, day job. I got on this one thread with Odyssey where I was like, dude, your time management skills must be off the charts. When I went back and looked at all the stuff that you've made, and then you were telling me the hours that you work, I remember thinking, I thought you had a studio at the job or something like that.
Nah.
How are you making stuff in your head while you're at work in terms of writing?
I am. Well, I say lately though, I had to take a break to just figure where I'm at. I got 3 more projects I had to turn in for the label.
Now you're on Mellow Music.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. One I can't name all the way. I'm working with another producer who I tell you off.
Okay.
But that a solo record produced by me entirely, and an instrumental album.
Okay.
They pretty much are done. I gotta get like every one of them mixed or whatever, and then blend them or whatever. But
Now, because I think the way that Odyssey explained this was with Mellow Music, you basically agree to do X number of albums.
yeah, it's just a one-on-one, project per project basis.
What's funny, because what you were saying earlier was you just had put your head down, dove into it, and 10 years later you've got X amount of stuff and you're blown away by that amount. Do you find that knowing that your expectations are to have a finite amount of stuff done impacts your ability to make music, or you're just going to make it anyway?
Yeah, but regardless of the situation, I'm still, this is my release.
Right.
I'll probably, my head wouldn't be as clear without music.
Yeah.
We go through enough in the course of a day. Everybody has their release. Some people like smoke a cigarette, or they got different ways to release.
Right.
Ride a bike or whatever you do. This is what I do. So I mean, it's still fun to me.
Right.
And a lot of people I came up with don't. Over time, they fell out of love with it.
Right.
But I still am learning. It's still making more and more sense. Like And then at the same time, I'm trying to implement instruments to it. So it's an infinite amount of ground to cover.
It's good to see, because that's one of the things I noticed about particularly some of the older heads in DC.
Mm-hmm.
When they weren't getting out of it, probably what they deserved, but what they expected,
Mm-hmm.
they developed a really disenchanted view of it. But
Right,
it's so
right.
good to see people, and I'll tell you the same thing to you that I said to Odyssey. So I'm glad it's you guys, man. I mean, I really feel like you guys are at the forefront of what the DMV is being perceived as, and what the
Appreciate it.
reality is. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I feel like I'm glad to hear that, hell or high water, you still get the same kick out of doing it.
Seriously.
You know?
I mean, if it wasn't fun, I probably would find something else.
Yeah.
That was fun for me.
Well, I know that you're into hoops. The other thing, here's the other thing about you.
Mm-hmm.
So you have the Instagram while you're taking pictures, and some of the pictures that you get, I don't know if you do a lot of filtering or whatever, but the perspective, the angles. I mean, you're one of the people that I check for on Instagram, and
That's
one of the
right.
things I see you doing is shooting baskets.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I used to play. I need to get out a lot more.
Yeah.
For real, before you start getting older, you start getting.
How old are you?
I'm 37. Actually.
Okay, yeah, I'm 36.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
I used to play outside. I
Right.
played, indoors 4 days a week, outdoors 3.
Right.
Once I turned 30, nope.
Right,
No
right,
more
right,
back-to-backs.
Yeah, I keep a ball in my trunk
Okay.
just in case. Now I'm showing him how to dribble and all
No,
that.
you say that, you pointing towards your son.
My son,
He's
exactly,
5.
Exactly.
Very, very, very wonderful kid. As soon as I came in the door, he's very engaging. He's ready to rock.
Yeah, he's real personable.
Yeah. Is he
Yeah.
taking to sports?
He hasn't got into there yet. We trying to actually get him either like in karate or something.
Okay.
See what he like. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to lock him down to the things I like. So
Right.
I just want to let him see what he gravitates toward.
Well, from my interactions with him, he's gonna, you know what I mean. He'll let you know what he's into.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's smart though.
So you said, did you play hoops in high school? You said you played a bunch of different sports.
I was about to, but that's around the same time. It was either that or music. I had tryouts and all that. Had people that played for same school. I went to Montgomery Blair High School.
Did you really?
Yeah, I
Okay.
went around the same time. Steve Francis was there.
Okay. I actually taught there for a little bit.
Oh, so
Yeah,
That's what's up,
to
bro.
get my degree in education, the last 16
old-
weeks.
the old
right.
one. Yeah.
No, actually the new one, the one that's on Four Corners.
Okay.
Did you
Well,
go
I
to the
went
old Blair?
joint.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
It was like a college.
So I used to live off Greenbrier, which is right over by like that market.
Okay.
So
okay.
yeah.
That's what's up. Yeah, I went to 3 different high schools though. I went to Lago.
Okay.
I went to T.C. Williams.
Okay.
And then I moved to Silver Spring. I went to Blair. Did a lot of moving around. I lived with my pops up until 10th grade, and then like 9th grade, and then I moved with my mom.
Okay.
She was in Virginia. But
The one thing I always remember about you is when you and I first met, or when I would see you interacting with other people, you have a very wait and see attitude towards people. Do you think that was developed from having moved around to schools and developing different peer groups?
What you mean?
In terms of like I feel like people could come up to you like, oh, peace, like your shit's dope. Be like, all right, cool. But it's up to them to try and take it further than that.
Right.
If you're not interested in that, it's not going to go beyond that.
That's true. I mean, a lot of it is vibration, man.
Yeah.
You meet the more we do this, you meet people all over, and music is the thing. It's everybody's doing it, but the more you do it, the more you realize that. For me, it's a little bit more. For me, it's a spiritual connection. It's a deep thing, and I don't just those relations. I gotta make sure that it's secure.
Right.
I'm not supposed to do music with everybody.
Right.
I'm not one of those people that does out of quantity. It's more quality. It's more making sense.
Right.
Every move has to, in some way, seem like that was the next thing that I was supposed to do.
Right.
Because if I end up just making a whole lot of random moves, I end up in a place like, where am I at?
Right.
What
Right.
is this album that I'm doing? I
Right.
don't understand what this is supposed to mean to my life.
Right.
But I mean, I say that because most of the stuff I've done, I don't really got a song out there that I can say I didn't mean that. Like, I wish I didn't do that.
Right.
And I pride myself on that. Like, even if the beat was a little, you know,
Yeah.
and then even that's hard because you make beats yourself, and somebody send you a beat and try and get you on a verse, they gonna pay you.
Right.
And then you know, from a critical mind, you be like, that beat, like, you know, I could. Why don't you let me do the drums on that? Or,
Right.
But you know what? This is your thing.
Right.
But at least early on, we noticed that when the beat is minimal, it leaves the opportunity for what you have to say to stand out that much more.
Okay. Yeah.
That actually was like the first lessons we were given when we came into doing stuff with the Remains. My man would have he had all these beats. Like, it was me and his brother, his younger brother. We would do stuff, and from the other room right next to his, you could hear all the stuff his brother was doing. It was like the crucialest music you ever heard was being done in the room right beside you, and you just like your ear to the door, like,
right.
Whoa, like, man,
right.
If I had that beat right there,
yeah,
and like came a time like my older brother was in a crew with his older brother,
okay,
so he reached out. My older brother reached out to him and was like, you know, can you give my brother some beats or whatever? They try and get started, da da da.
right.
He was like, all right, so he playing his beats. And it'll be like the best shit you ever heard. And then he be like, yeah, so can I get that joint? He was like, nah, you know, that's for my album. But hold on. And
Right.
they played a couple more that we couldn't have.
Right.
And then he played the most basic beat ever. I'm like, yeah, you get that one. But what I learned from that was I would take that basic beat and you make your voice like the main instrument.
Right.
And you go off on it to where eventually he will come back and be like, remember that beat I played you
right.
before that I told you was for my album?
Right.
I'm saying, why don't you go ahead and try to do something to it?
Yeah.
You had to earn your way.
Right.
To be able to have those kind of.
Now, did he know that was the path that he was laying out for you, or that's the one?
He didn't know.
Okay.
He didn't know. He didn't know. He just saw that, you know, if you're doing like that on the minimum, chances are,
what
like,
would you do with something bigger?
It's not even, like, I learned early on that no matter how big and bad the beat is, you present it with a puzzle every time you step to any beat. Because you're trying to make a marriage with that beat in your voice.
Right.
And to make the song that was designed to be put to it.
Right.
And a lot of times, like, I look back through history, like even songs that came out, songs on the radio and all that. I wanted to actually do a mixtape of taking a lot of songs I like. I feel like the beat was pretty much taking the lead.
Okay.
And I wanted to do a mixtape.
Like pop songs or just songs in general?
Not pop, but like classic.
Okay.
Classic hip hop, even some pop joints.
Yeah.
That I really like the beat, but I wish I could kick your vocals off the joint and just do what was supposed to be done to it.
Right.
And I think I'm gonna still do that for real. And just it's really an ode to songwriting, to better songwriting.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think it's so interesting because I enjoy talking to people that either started out making beats or that was 80% of it, and then the other 20% was writing rhymes, and then eventually became 50-50. But I think people that made the beats first have such a better, it's basically just less ego in the writing. Because when you think about what's ultimately, it might take somebody 9 or 10 listens to a song to really flesh out everything that's going on.
Right.
So the verses are going to be the least impactful thing on the first couple listens, and it's really the hook and then where you're landing on the snare and all that. Plus, you have the kind of voice. If I had never met you, I would think you were like 6'9", 280. Just out, you know what I mean? Like, you have that kind of voice that the lows really cut through everything. You know. So what songs in particular are you looking at that you'd want to flip?
Well, see, my daughter, she gave my computer a virus in the middle.
Okay.
I had everything organized like in playlists or what have you, but I'm pretty much I gotta.
You gotta give her a producer credit on the album.
Nah. No. I mean, it basically messed my organization up.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
But no, it's cool. It's cool. I mean, you know, it's I basically got to listen to all this stuff again. At some point, that's why I was able to organize like that, because I listened. I always had this going.
Right.
And as I'm like, say I'm in the other room cooking or something, I hear something. Oh, I gotta put that.
Right.
And that's years of doing that.
Right.
So like, the way that it was.
Okay.
My next 10 years was already. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's cool. It's just back at the beginning.
Do you have the framework and then you can go back and fill it in, or are you just starting from scratch now?
A lot of it's from scratch.
Okay.
But a lot of that was like projects after these mainstay ones. Like I'm fine with those because I can go back to the Logic sessions or whatever. But it's just cool. It's
Well,
just,
like for example, End of an Era, which was on. Is that on Before Taxes?
No, that's
or
on the Earn.
I mean, that's entire thing is samples from television. But the way that did you put that together?
Yeah.
It's brilliant because at first, I thought it was, just a criticism of news broadcasting, which to a certain extent it is. But it's also the flip from analog to digital, right?
Digital turns.
Absolutely, it's that kind of stuff. Like your voice isn't even on it, and just of the songs that I heard from you, that would be in my top 5 just conceptually. It was amazing. How did that come together?
That was an important part. I mean, it's a blessing to be able to say, like generations before us were able to see certain things happen, and we don't know nothing about that. So, like, for these generations after, they can't say that they were able to see that. It was a big point. Like,
What is so? Just for our listeners, because I think I understand what you're talking about contextually. But when you say from one generation to the next, like, what do you mean specifically by that?
I mean, kids that were born after that.
Okay.
That all they know is a plasma screen TV.
Okay. Yeah.
But we go back to old school TV with the
bunny ears.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The hanger.
Right.
And all that. And it's a blessing to be able to go through the different ages and see the evolution.
Right.
I mean, again, going back to a lot of what my whole thing is about is going through evolution and showing the growth.
Okay.
Even that's another example.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because I feel like that lends itself to the narrative aspect. There's a beginning, middle, an end, at least from that specific moment. And you know that the end is ever unraveling. I remember the Duke-Kentucky college basketball game. I remember watching that on a black and white TV.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. Exactly. Which, and even that, like back in the day, I remember my parents watching black and white movies.
Okay.
Or whatever. I used to hate black and white movies.
Yeah.
Because I just felt like they put you to sleep.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have color. But you get older and you start to see, especially by movies now, got a whole lot of special effects, a lot of money put into it to kind of jazz it up or whatever. But the thing to be lacking is the storyline.
Right.
But now I go back and I listen like this. And,
so you pulled out a copy of Alfred Hitchcock, The Legend Begins. Okay.
His writing.
Yeah.
His storylines are not to be compared. He didn't have special effects.
Yeah.
All the special effects were in the story. They were in the twists. Manually, he could make you. It could make you scared.
Right. Like, plus, what was the one where somebody creeps up on somebody in the shower, and they don't show, it's not on some Freddy Krueger with the knives going in and out of the skin. There's just the blood circling the drain.
Exactly.
So you know what happens.
Exactly.
And
it's up
your
to
mind
you
does it,
and your mind put it together.
Right.
Where not a whole lot of it's gore or whatever, but at the same time, it's leaving it up. It's honestly trust.
Right.
It trusted the viewer. It's like giving them saying that you're smart. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But when you make everything extra special effects and everything, you kind of making an inside joke like we're kind of stupid or something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, yeah, I feel like when an audience needs to be spoon-fed things, the synapses, the brain chemistry, like it's not as stimulating to that, and therefore you just become that much more passive.
Exactly.
And that was the thing I really enjoyed about End of an Era was like, particularly the way you flipped. There was a couple samples really early on, but the way you flipped it, there was sort of like a poking fun at the audience. Like if you're not getting the overall, just more than just the analog to the HD switch. Right. There was more to it. That's the one thing about your music. I encourage our listeners who aren't already familiar, and even if you are, go back and listen. There's so much depth to what you do
Appreciate it.
lyrically, musically. And I know you were under the weather, so thank you for taking the time out
Nah,
to
no
talk
problem,
with me
no
today,
problem.
man.
Appreciate you. I appreciate you. I
So,
mean,
people, I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, I'm
People can find you on Bandcamp, Spotify.
seriously.
If you go to Mellow Music, is it mellowmusicgroup.com?
Yep, mellowmusicgroup.com.
It's
All
listed
the
under.
albums.
You
Yeah,
probably got
everything's
the easiest name for everybody that we've interviewed to remember. It's just Y and then you.
Lowercase y, capital U.
Absolutely, man. Pleasure building with you, man. Thank you.
Same.
Cone Billionaires, be sure to check out Why Use Music, and we'll talk to you next time. Peace.
Peace.
I want to send a shout to all them artists who put thought into what you do or what you say. Check this out. I got a lot on my brain. Stress taller than my daughter, 3 feet and some change. I don't complain, I complete. My aim is like the archer with an arrow cocked back, let it go. Target is deceased. On beats I reach people of all kind. Sometimes it do take time, but I'm on time. Genuine with the rhythm I'm designing. Started all over, you can call it redefining myself. Cause I had to take it back to zero. Folks pump your head up, you get a lower ego. Start showing off when you get in front of the people. But when it come to this here, I come with the lethal. And he who tries to get fried, served like a 3-piece biscuit on the side. You risk it all, but you fall short. When it come to thought, I hold the chalk, trace figures on the asphalt. Cash talk, let me get a little bit. You won't catch me putting out that old bullshit. Nah, I love the raw, untapped. Stepped away for a second, but I had to come back, cause I thought about it. I thought about it. Thought about it. All this time. I said I thought about it. I said I thought about it. Thought about it. Use your mind. My man had a plan to get played on the radio hard like 100 times a day. Would it take a lot of hard work and a lot of networking and started from the bottom up just like a rebirth again. Beginning to win now. Hate comes around when you get a little bit. Niggas teeth tend to grit, but he saw this. His walk is cautious. Don't even need to pack the 4/5 cause he got God's strength. Ready for the world like the 80s band. Some make moves, others hate to see him expand. To all the crabs waiting in the barrel to get a clamp for the champ. Never he use your ass as exam. So dance to the rhythm that he tap with both hands. He not for no plan, slim a grown ass man. Big star on the map, that's where he live at. Get love, never ever hesitate to give back. Cause he thought about it. I thought about it. Thought about it. All this time. I said I thought about it. I said I thought about it. Thought about it. Use your mind. Alright, to be an MC means that I can hold it down even if it's just me. If I'm solo, I go for what I know still, don't chill. Nah, I don't even battle, brother gon' build for real. Like the girl on Hill. People say they hear me rhyme, they get a warm feel in their chest. I'm a child of the most highest. It seems like the radio is so biased. I experiment with this like some old science. Lab coat with the glasses, why you they asking? But I never told what I hold is gold. Like a 5-finger ring, so get off the ding-a-ling and lay low. I hate broke, so I made more. Thankful for the bankroll. Ain't changed, same goal. Got a globe to see. Way more than MD and DC. I'm being me free. Quit leading these seeds. Straight to Hades. Vintage with this is what it remains means. The game's infected. Folks trying to gain green. I could cross over, but it really ain't me. So I thought about it. I thought about it. Thought about it. All this time. I said I thought about it. I said I thought about it. Thought about it. Use your mind.